I don't know about you, but I've been so taken with this tournament. Could there be another good series to find? Oh, Reynor just canceled his drone. Does that mean he's queuing minerals for 200? He could be going 12 pool. He is. They didn't make us wait long to get this series going. Neeb is sending a probe over for a hatch block, which is going to work out for him. He's going to get some early scouting info. After bashing it for the last 6 months, I might sort of see its utility. Reynor is droning behind this. This might not be the all-in 12 pool. A low-ground pylon for Protoss. Neeb shows up 5 seconds before Zerg should try to take that natural. He plants his gateway, still not knowing. He's starting to wonder. He's heading up to the main. Oh, he got suspicious within the second. There's the drone going out for the natural. Is he going to be able to grab it? He doesn't have the 300 minerals. That's going to give Neeblet a chance to get back. Protoss is in blocking position. Reynor immediately goes to work at chipping away at that probe shields. He's making 6 Zerglings. If that drone can't do the job, his buddies can. Neeblet is pulling out. Reynor wins the prize, which is his own natural. But he wants more than that. He wants Neeblet's head. He's going to be doing something with those 6lings of his. They are out. And the hatch blocking probe is still here. He's going to be the first blood. No! Reynor ignores him, goes right past him. He's keeping his eye on the prize. Neeblet, chrono boosting his zealot and trying to finish his wall. He's put his core down. We're playing on Jagannatha. There are acceleration zones to get your opponent to your base even faster. Rush distance 35 seconds. That is enough time to get a chrono boosted zealot out. Neeb has his wall. He's going to reinforce it with 4 probes. Oh, this is interesting. He's not going hold position. He's coming out to fight. Oh, this is a dangerous game. Neeblet is trying to bait Reynor in. Oh, he's putting down a Nexus. Look at the comfort and poise. Most players would have a shield battery behind that zealot in hold position. Reynor does slip in a ling. Neeblet's got 2 zealots. He can afford to send one after it. What an entertaining opening. Reynor's almost got that pylon down. And he gets a full scout of the Protoss main, although there's not really much to see there. Neeblet is no longer defending the wall. He's got a chrono boosted adept on the way. Reynor's lings kill the second zealot. That means they're free to get that pylon. If they can get one more, they will depower that warp gate. But not before that adept gets out. They're on the run now. Neeb's adept wants to clean up those Zerglings quick. They're outmatched by the Protoss at this point, but they can still do damage in the form of chaos and disruption. The Zergling in the main is looking to escape. The adept uses her shade to try to cut off the ling in 2 places at once. She gets the ling. And despite that awesome opening, it looks like we're actually going to transition to a normal game. Zerg is droning and filling in her queen count. Neeb makes his tech choice, adding a Stargate. Though it's going to become part of his wall, which could be a future vulnerability. You know, this map is rather dark. Let's try on the night vision goggles. We haven't busted them out in a while. Let me know if you think they work on this map or not. I kind of like it, but it's something that can be overdone. Neeb's adept is going to hit Reynor's 3rd, find nothing there, head for the natural. A queen is there to guard. The surviving lings have returned home. They are available to defend. They're going to try to pick up the shade. Neeb's going to cancel it. No damage with his adept, but he keeps it alive. He's bringing up his 2nd one to double his attacking power. Neeb starts a Void Ray. Reynor starts ling speed. There's not a lot of creep spread right now. Can Neeb take advantage? Here's the shade. And it's real. It's going to be a one-way trip. How much can they get? 2 drones, 3 drones. Reynor recruits the drones in the attack. There's the escape shade, but the adepts are murdered before they can execute it. Adept number 3 is acting as the door guard. A 4th is in the making. The Void Ray is out. That means the life of the Overlord in the main is forfeit. As they say, pop goes the weasel. Ugh. It's convenient how the blood doesn't get on that warp gate that's warping in. Everybody knows that warp matrix is self-cleaning. Reynor's got a ling squad back out on the map. It's much harder to use Overlords for vision with a Void Ray on the prowl. Oh, Zerg's gonna take a shot at the 3rd here. The Void Ray's all there is for defense. There's 7 lings here. No, they pull back. They form up with 3 more to make 10. An Oracle is now out. Fortunately for Reynor, his spores are underway. He's also making drones 6 at a time. That's going to give him a bit of a cushion if an Oracle does what an Oracle can do. And right now it's swinging around to the right, looking to get at the main. The Queen is there. The Spore is there. Neeb does not see an opening. He will, though, keep his Oracle's hull intact. And he'll scout that Reynor has started his lair. Pulsar beams are active. Neeb kills a drone at the natural. And back at the Protoss ranch, Neeb has started up a robo. That's in addition to a Twilight Council and a forge. He is teching hard. Reynor's working on a roach warren, and his lair is more than halfway done. He's teching pretty hard too. Also adding an Evo chamber. Double oracles for Neeb now. Here comes another dive. No, a well-positioned queen's gonna zone them out. They get the scout on the Evo chamber, but that's it. The oracles are not done. They're gonna try again. But Reynor's queens are everywhere. Pulsar beams. Neeb only gets a single kill, but he does force a drone pull. Meanwhile, back home, he's started +1 attack and the Zealot leg upgrade. He's also raising his gate count to 3. The oracles are headed home. Minimal damage achieved, but they're available for the later phases of the game. Did I say 3 gates? It's officially gonna be 5. Oh, and an early infestation pit for Reynor. Could just be hive tech, but sometimes that means we get to see the mushroom men. Reynor's also started +1 missile attack. Protoss is going to be marginally ahead on upgrades. This is starting to feel a little bit swarm hosty. Reynor tries to stash a Ling in the corner of the map for vision. Neeb sentries are sending out hallucinated phoenixes. They want the 411 on what's going on here. That infestation pit is about to finish. Then we'll see how much fun we're potentially in for. Reynor puts down a 4th. And as much as I love watching warp gates transform, this is about the Nidus network and the Mushroom Men. We are going to see swarm hosts out of Reynor. I don't get to see Reynor use higher tech units that often. He just kills everything with Baneling Muta. It may be less reliable than your television, but it's still a network, and it will be the mighty Nidus. Reynor streams his Lings to the bottom right. He drops one off. Yeah, he definitely wants vision in that bottom right-hand corner. I think that's where it's going to be. But he's also doing roach speed. Neeb is going to complete his battle deck. That's going to be so important, whether it's Archons or Storm. That's about to become his lifeblood. A Nidus worm is under construction in the bottom right. A Void Ray finds it. It's a race. Can he focus it down before it completes? No! But he will be able to kill it shortly thereafter. The structure's armor actually drops after it completes. Oh, the destructible rocks look really good with the night vision goggles. Too good. They're distracting me from the fact that the oracles have found worm number 2 and they're bringing it down. Neeb's thanking his stars that he banked their energy. They might not have been able to pull that off otherwise. Reynor so wants that bottom right position. I think he set that one down before the Void Ray even left. The Void Ray pilot says, not gonna happen. Reynor's already starting up the next worm. Neeb is just doing a fantastic job of shutting him down. This next one's hiding all the way back in the acceleration zone. But I think this one's finally gonna get up. +1 done for both our players. The swarm hosts are live and loaded. There are 12 in total. The oracles are gonna see them march right over to the presumptive 4. The locust horde is out. Oh, the oracles actually got a swarm host. The locusts are gonna hit the natural. Neeb does not have any shield batteries there. He can't use overcharge to bail himself out. Oh, but he can use sentry force fields, a fantastic placement. He cuts off the bulk of the locusts who just time out. A great defense, but the attack costs Reynor nothing, and he takes a 5th base behind it. Neeb well knows the worm location though. He's gonna take care of it. Reynor's already making a replacement. Neeb starts researching the all-important storm. He's also started Blink. If maneuverability is the key to the game right now, Blink is king. The Mushroom Men are back and they have another volley prepared. Reynor sends them out precisely as their cooldown completes. They launch at the Protoss 3rd. There's an opportunity to shut down Storm there. Oh, but Reynor's going even bigger. He wants the Nexus. He's gonna get it. Put on your protective shades, everyone. It's happening. I love how Reynor's adding spine crawlers. You have to expect Neeb's patented Zealot run-bys at this point, especially since he's got the leg upgrade. And speak of the devil, there they go. Reynor is maxed. He's got a Roach Ravager escort to protect his Nidus Worms now. But he's also trying to shoot them in on the right-hand side as well. Neeb's force fields catch the Ravagers. The Biles annihilate his Zealot. So much for that escort. Reynor has to retreat his Swarm Host or lose them. Is that last one gonna make it home? He made it. 10 Swarm Hosts escape to the bottom right. And they are off cooldown. A lone Zealot discovers this macabre scene. For a second it looked like Reynor was gonna send his Locusts after the Zealot. But no, he wants another Nexus. And he shall have it. If your eyes are sensitive, avert thy gaze! The Nexus falls, Neeb is supply blocked. He starts making pylons to get himself out of the jam. Reynor is going to take an upgrade lead. His +2 ranged attack is going to complete. And he's begun hive tech at his main. Neeb's barn door is open. Roach is getting inside, lots of them. And in this case, the precise definition of lots is 10. Neeb with the recall. Not his whole army, but his immortals, which are perfect for dealing with pesky roaches. Reynor sends them to the main. He's gonna make Neeb work to clean them up. Neeb starts his +2 upgrade at his forge while he's at it. He's gonna need to play catch up. Reynor is building quite a bank at this point. He's able to do that even though he's remaxing and teching at the same time. Storms, that's one way that Neeb can get back into this. His initial defense was so good, but he's at risk of getting ground down. He's getting outmined and he can't replenish his supply fast enough. And the Swarm Hosts are not done. Excuse me, did anyone order 20 loci? No, really? Well, it seems to have this address. Neeb's army's advancing. He's looking to get some counter damage done, but it's taking him way out of position. There goes the 20 locusts. They're headed for the natural. Storms for defense. Oh, he's going after units this time. Neeb's gonna hold, but at huge cost to his army. He's down over 40 army supply. His main force returns too late to intercept the Swarm Host, but they can get the Nidus one. Meanwhile, Reynor's added a Hydra Den with Hydra Speed and a Lurker Den. Hive Tech is here. Swarm Host plus Lurkers is a nasty combo. Oh, big clash right here. Reynor dodges the storms, heads back up the ramp. Neeb takes the bulk of his own storms chasing after Reynor, who's able to defend his ramp. Reynor researches Seismic Spines, the Lurker attack range upgrade. Reynor's started making Hydras. He's maxed out, so he's gonna be happy to start exchanging his Roach Ravager with Neeb's units. It's not enough for Neeb just to take battles anymore. He has to be hyper efficient as well. Fortunately, with Immortal Archon Storm, he does have the tools to do it. Another worm goes down in the bottom right. Definitely Reynor's favorite spot. Neeb hears it and responds. Is he gonna find it? He does! Reynor's forced to retreat, but he gets his Locusts off. No Nexus kills, but he's gonna be able to cut Neeb's army down to size yet again. And he builds another worm on the left-hand side, swinging his Swarm Host to the other flank. Oh, Reynor's trying to repeat that open barn door stun of his. Neeb with the blink block. That was pretty awesome. Stalkers do that bonus damage against those armored roaches. And Neeblet's Oracle has discovered the Swarm Host's left-hand side position and forces the retreat. They were stuck on cooldown and did not want to hang around and take hits. Neeb has that all-important warp prison now. That means he can reinforce in the field, which he is. He looks to be trying for a death ball push. He'd like to get some economic damage here, but he'll settle for clearing the creep if he has to. Reynor's researching adaptive talons. That's the speed burrow upgrade for his lurkers. Neeb's Storm wards off the Ravagers and he pivots to the left-hand side. Reynor's still looking for ways to get value out of his Swarm Host. He's throwing down another worm on the left-hand side. Meanwhile, it's Storm versus Corrosive Bile as Neeb looks to push. But the lurker count is growing. Reynor is slowly substituting his army. Neeb has a transition plan as well. He's adding a pair of Stargates. He's got a fleet beacon underway. Neeb's likely thinking about how those carriers could help him with those lurkers. They're certainly not bad against Swarm Host either. Oh, Neeb eats Corrosive Bile. Reynor eats Storm. is definitely pick your opponent's meal day. Oh yeah, Neeb's really getting his storm on. This is what he wants to be doing. The bad news is Reynor's got the bank to keep this up. Oh, Locust hit the 4th. Neeb destroys his opponent's 4th. And then he sets up a recall. Is he going to try to save his 4th? Yes, he's going to try. Oh, he blinks. He's going to get vengeance on the Swarm Host. He picked off a few, but Reynor was able to escape virtue of having a very close Nidus Worm. Neeb's going to rebuild. Reynor is supply blocked. Are you really supply blocked if your max is 192? Ooh, that is a lot of lurkers. Question, can you actually lurk if you're in a pack that large? I feel like lurking is the activity of a small group. It's like saying an army of ninjas. It's almost an oxymoron to me. With these lurkers, Reynor's going to seize a position in the mid-ground. If he does, he's going to be able to set up his worms and fire off Swarm Host with impunity. Forget that, he's going to try and siege up right on Protoss' base, right at the natural. Oh, he's getting tech structures. He's going to get that Stargate. Neeb's got 2 more, so that's not the end of the world. But the Cyber Cores, that's going to hurt. Losing your Cybernetics Core is like going in the penalty box for 36 seconds. There's an awful lot you can't build without one. The famed Neeblots are finally doing their thing. Reynor's drone count is down to 50. Neeb's out mining them now. Oh, big time storms! He's going right at the lurkers. He's cleaning them out. Unfortunately, it's costing Neeb his army. The armies of both players are shattered, but the guy with the bigger bank is already replenishing. 16 more Hydras on the way. Neeb trying to hold that 4th base location. No, he's not. He GG's. Game 1 goes to Reynor. That was a fun one, and it bodes really well for this series. Wow, I got so into this game, I realized I forgot to do the intros. Next time. So, let me talk about this game though. Neeb had a great defense early on, but he just wasn't able to get any harassment damage in. That causes a problem when playing against a Zerg opponent of Reynor's caliber. He's going to drone up and wield economic power, and except he didn't. Reynor never got to that crazy 80 drone range. He went another way. He teched up instead and rolled out the Swarm Host with Nidus Worm. Awesome fun to watch. Neeb actually looked pretty good defending that early on too. He was finding every worm and crushing it. But eventually, Reynor was just so persistent. Eventually, he ground Neeb down. He cost him a Nexus here, a Nexus there, and it starts to add up. With so much Swarm Host action, I didn't really do a great job in my observing and displaying Neeb's counteroffensive, which took place in the form of Zealots for the most part. But it wasn't enough. It got consistently cleaned up. I don't really have a specific criticism for Neeb. I liked his composition. I liked his attitude. He made the right decision trying to transition to carriers. Maybe if he gets hit by 10 less biles, and this is a different game, he might consider adding a shield battery at more of his bases so that when the Locust hit, he can avail himself of battery overcharge. We see that done a lot, and it was missing here. But really, my best advice for him is don't play against Reynor. What a force of nature. By the end of this game, Reynor was actually winning on resources lost, and by that I mean Neeb had lost more. Such a confusing stat to articulate because it's a negative. Whenever a Zerg achieves that, they have a very strong chance of winning the game. And what it tells us is that even if it didn't really look like it at times, Neeb was getting out microed. That's Reynor for you. Well, I'd love to see what he's going to try to do for Game 2 then. So, Adjutant, if you would, please.
Optimizing Best of 5 series. Game 2 begins now.
So, now what? That was an awesome Game 1. What will follow? That is not a hatch blocking probe. That is a low ground pylon probe. I can tell because he's wearing a name tag. And we don't have a 12 pool coming out of Reynor this game. So it looks like we're going to see something a little bit more normal. I don't mean to say that like it's a bad thing. Especially since this isn't looking too normal after all. We have a gas burst coming out of our Protoss player. We'll have to keep an eye on what Neeb does with that. He is going to put down his gateway pretty much at the normal time. Which means that there will be nothing to stop Reynor from putting down his hatch at his natural. Let's try not to forget the intros this time. He's the Zerg player who always comes through to victory. You can count on him. Rain or shine!
Current world rank 2.
He's spent some time in that #1 spot, and he is the champion of DreamHack Fall. He's gonna plant his extractor and follow it with his pool. His Protoss opponent is trying to catch up on minerals. He wants the required 400 so he can plant his Nexus at his natural. Game 2 is critical for Protoss. When this game's over, he'll either have it tied up or he'll be on the ropes, forced to win 3 games in a row to avoid elimination. It's pretty hard to overstate how important this game is to him. You might say, he really needs it!
Current world rank 22.
Now once again, Neeblet has registered in the tournament with his original name Neeblet, so I should be calling him that. Old habits die hard. Reynor's hatch at his natural will complete. It's just a little teeny bit ahead of his pool, so it'll be a moment before he makes his choice. 2 queens, 0 lings. It looks like Reynor's gonna go full on econ for game 2. He's gonna rely heavily on his overlords for scouting. And his first overlord is gonna witness the core complete, an adept get chrono boosted, and warp gate technology get researched. And Reynor is gonna respond by researching overlord speed. We haven't seen that done this early in a while. And the tech choice for Neeb is going to be Twilight Council. Neeb's first adept completes and immediately heads off to the Zerg base. Reynor will take his third. There's that speed upgrade, aka pneumatized carapace. Okay, Reynor does have his first 2 lings out, and he is going to make 2 more. Neeb's going to make a stalker behind the adept. He sets a rally point that says he wants to chase out that overlord. Meanwhile, he also starts a robo. The adept is going to try to shade into the main. The Zerglings pick it up and Neeb is forced to cancel. His adept is headed home. Reynor starts ling speed. Overlord speed, aka pneumatized carapace, is done. It's really tough to zone out an overlord with that upgrade. He's going to see the Twilight Council and the extra gates. He doesn't see that Neeb is placed in order to research resonating glaives. Will the overlord be our first blood? I think it's going to make it away. It does. Wow, 3.5 minutes and no lost units. Reynor's dispatched additional overlords. He's not content with his scouting info so far, and I'm not sure there's much of anything Neeb can really do to stop him. Overlord speed is so powerful against a KG opponent. It's one of the reasons they increased the cost in patch 4.11. After that it became less common, but Reynor is reminding us why it was so popular. He gets an opportunity to see pretty much everything, and he's been able to keep all his overlords alive. Here, he's going in again. He's going to see that Neeb's adding a warp prism to enhance his resonating glaive push. And he's going to confirm the glaives and count the gates. Reynor responds by getting his Roach Warren going, and he's going to add a Spine Crawler. He puts that down pretty much where adepts love to perch and shoot off their shades. Wow, 4.5 minutes, no first blood. But here comes the adept harass. 4 so far, followed by that warp prism. I think all bets are off. The adepts are going to arrive before that Spine Crawler can finish. And Reynor's dangerously adding drones at his third. That means there's 3 locations for Neeb to hit. The adept count is up to 9. Resonating Glaives is about to finish. The shade goes for the natural. It does not complete. Reynor's adding 7 more roaches. He knows he's got a lot to lock down, such as this pesky warp prism, and the lings are on it. He forces the cancel. Neeb's gonna try again at the low ground. I think he's gonna get some free shots off. Good for a first blood. Meanwhile, Neeb's main force goes for the third. He kills a drone and sends his shade into the natural. He finishes it. It links up with his reinforcing adepts. This is exactly what Reynor wants, but does he have enough? Neeb circles around the roaches and starts killing drones. Reynor pulls his workers at the natural, whereupon Neeb shades back to the third and raises his kill count to 14 drones. Neeb is finding value. He's just doing a tour of Reynor's bases. It's a battle of multitasking, as combat breaks out in all 3 of Reynor's bases. Neeb is significantly outmining Reynor at this point. Most of Reynor's probes are all dead or hiding. Reynor's continuous queen production should help him. The Adepts cannot go toe-to-toe with the Roaches or the Queens. Well, I guess they can if it's 8 on 1. He gets a Queen. The drone kill count hits 18. This is starting to get pretty serious for Reynor. Neeb's not even reinforcing it at this point. He's working on a transition to Immortals. He knows he's forced Reynor into an overproduction of Roaches. 22 dead drones. If it wasn't for Reynor's excellent uses of Transfuse, this game might already be lost. Well, it looks like he's finally getting the cleanup. Neeb returns his attention to his macro and starts a forge at home. His last 2 Adepts escape, and the kill count is going to be 25 drones. That translates to a lead of only 15 workers. A credit to Reynor's drone production. He's making them 5 at a time. Neeb starts a 3rd base, and he started Zealot leg speed, and he's keeping up on his Immortal production. Reynor scrapes up a pair of drones so he can start 2 extractors at the geysers at his natural. The forge completes. Neeb's going to be able to start +1 attack. It's a big deal for Neeb when he focuses on his Zealots. It lets a Zealot kill a Zergling with 2 attacks instead of 3. Oh, Reynor's started up layered tech, as well as an Evo chamber. And there's the +1 for Neeb. The layer is being made at the natural. Oh, Neeb's 2 veteran Adepts might not be done their war. They did a wide circle and they're coming back for that 3rd. My war's not over. Because that's exactly what Adepts would sound like. Oh, they're just inflating their kill counts. Reynor really thought the Adept harass was over. So did I. Neeb has to be happy with his opening. He's slowed down Reynor as much as anybody actually can slow down Reynor. He's in a good position, still has a slight economic lead, but can he hold it? Neeb is prioritizing his Immortal production. His single robo made 1 observer, and then it's Immortals and non-stop thereafter. The Warp Prism thinks about a double Immortal drop, but changes its mind. He leaves him behind for defense, and the Warp Prism heads out to see what it can get done. Reynor's Overlords, they're just strafing the Protoss base like they think they're hallucinated phoenixes or something. Look at the awareness by Reynor. He has his Roaches lined up to receive that Warp Prism. What a map hacker. I do not know how he picked that up. He did not have any vision of that thing. It's just unreal, and he's completely shut the attack down. Meanwhile, he's picking up Roach speed and +1 ranged attack. Not the greatest once he sees the number of Immortals he's going to be facing. But I suspect most of those Roaches are going to be Ravagers soon enough. Neeb has just about finished his Templar archives. He needs some splash in his death ball, and Archons and Storm can give it to him. Neeb's spidey senses are tingling as well. He's added a cannon to each one of his bases, right in the mineral line. He knows his timings, and he's worried about something that rhymes with Utai. I get that. And in fact, he's right, because Reynor just put down a Spire. This game is going to have a completely different complexion from the last one. Reynor is so comfortable with his mutas. On the other hand, Neeb's a bit of a wizard with Blink Stalkers. He doesn't actually have Blink, but that could change, What he does have is a 4th. Or the start of one anyway. He's going to stay on even bases. Oh, bad rally for this Immortal. He's completely on his own. Something went terribly wrong for Neeb there. It got badly separated from his main force, which is sneaking down the left-hand side of the map. Reynor gets live to it and swings his army over to defend. Neeb pulls back. I'm not so sure he wants to run from that, though. Yeah, there's a lot of Roaches, but he wants to get those Immortals firing. Actually, Reynor thinks he wants the engagement. Oh, so does Neeb. Force fields go down. I think Neeb just suckered us both with a fake withdrawal. That was a terrific engagement for him. I remember the first time I ever saw Protoss cut an army in half with force fields. It just blew my mind. I just assumed it was a defensive ability. It never occurred to me its sheer power. That Spire's pretty close to done. Reynor's banking gas in preparation for its completion. And boing, we have a Spire. Neeb's adding shield batteries. I feel like he felt their absence in Game 1. That poor Warp Prism. Reynor refuses to let it do its thing. Reynor depletes his gas reserve and orders 6 mutas. Neeb begins researching Storm. He's got some newly minted High Templar banking energy. Oh, the muta count's just risen up to 8. Reynor heads out with his Roaches. If I may be so bold, he's not really looking to attack here. His primary goal is to keep Neeb in his base long enough for him to get his mutas out and ready. Reynor's not going to be upset if he does some damage or gets a good exchange, but what he doesn't want is Protoss' army at his doorstep, because then he has to defend and his Muta investment is a lot less useful. He wants it out harassing, and for that to be possible, he needs Neeb to stay in his base. He needs the Protoss feeling threatened. And let's face it, Reynor's a pretty intimidating guy. And speaking of those Mutas, Reynor started +1 air attack. When those bad boys finally hit, they are going to be a handful. For his part though, Neeb is going to finish up Storm. That means his army's going to be a whole body full. Reynor's adding spines at his 4th base. He knows how this works. If there's one Neeblet, there's going to be 10 to follow. Clearly I exaggerate. There's only 8. Did they see the Mutas? Because the Mutas are coming. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun da 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 da. Neeb is charging south. His Archon's in the lead. That's where Reynor wants his army, right in the middle of the map. Unable to defend his own base, unable to threaten Reynor's. The Mutas are assessing Neeb's cannon placement. And pretty soon Neeb's going to be left assessing all the hard choices he's made in life. Just a couple probes lost so far, but something tells me Reynor's just getting started. He goes after a shield battery position to protect the probes. Takes it down and then goes after the natural. Stalkers are there, Blink is only halfway done. What Neeb has finished is a Stargate. Neeb might be tempted to transition to Phoenix to get out of this, but I don't see any yet. He's actually building a second Stargate. And he's attacking the Zerg 4th. He's gonna take that down. There's a cancel though. That's big. Reynor maxed out and started banking some money. It's hard to imagine that after all the damage he took from that adept timing, that Reynor would ever be up on workers, but he is. Reynor's still pulling in more minerals even after he lost that 4th base. Part of the reason for that though is that the Muta kill count is now 20+ workers. Poor Neeb, man. He builds the cannons, he builds the shield batteries, he puts out the defensive stalkers, and still the Mutas chew him up. Yeah, I'd take my frustrations out with Storms too. For the moment, Neeb still has the upgrade advantage. Reynor's about to catch up. Oh, Neeb's gonna have a chance to show off his Blink momentarily. Nope, he's saving the surprise. And speaking of surprises, he's just put down a Dark Shrine. And he's got a Fleet Beacon half done. Neeb's not making Stargates for Phoenix. He's thinking about a transition to carriers. Oh, I'm nattering on about the future. The present is one bloodthirsty battle. Neeb is putting a few million volts through the oversized heads of those Ravagers. And oh my goodness, Reynor is still getting value out of his Mutas. I think he's got over 30 drone kills at this point. And he certainly gets the scout of the Dark Shrine and the Fleet Beacon. Man, I hope those Ravagers are getting hazard pay if they keep having to fight in stormy conditions. But if this is a storm, it's Reynor that's bringing the rain. He keeps connecting with his vials. Neeb has gone into carrier production. I figured his money would have all been dumped into trying to restore his lost probes. Reynor's out-resourcing him badly. His bank just went over 3,000. I think it's Pokemon card time. Reynor just wants to start trading units. It's to his advantage. He's about to finish his hive tech. He's going to have all sorts of rebuilding options. Neeb not so much. Everything's going to be so expensive. Still, Neeb has that tech advantage. He's about to get +3 attack and he's even getting +1 air. Reynor, on the other hand, has just completed a 5th base. It's not saturated, but soon it's going to cement his economic supremacy. Oh, Reynor's just queued up 24 more roaches. His Mutas are coming home from a rather successful campaign, and soon he's going to have a completely refreshed Roach Ravager army. Oh, heavy on the Ravagers, that's for sure. Those carriers could be a problem for Reynor, though. He's going to need something that can attack air. The obvious choice is Corruptors. They're pretty good against carriers, but they're not great against Blink Stalkers. And the Mutas have forced Neeb to build a ton of them. So I think Reynor's going to have some compositional challenges in the not-too-distant future. Though I guess Neeb has to survive long enough to make them count. But as long as he's got Storms left, he's still in this. Okay, so the first carriers are here. They just have to get their intercept counts up. Oh, big Storms! What a combo! The Storms drop the Ravager health bars into yellow, and the Interceptors just finish them off. See what I mean here? These Mutas are just pulling out more and more Stalkers. Those Stalkers are all going to show up on the battlefront. I guess Reynor's thinking is he's going to make them pay if they do. Reynor's battered Ravagers have out-deked the main army. He's caught Neeb trying to make an undefended 5th. He forces the cancel. Neeb cuts him off! Those Ravagers have all eaten storms. Oh, terrific bile hits. Neeb just takes it all on the chin. He wants to chase down those Ravagers. +2 air attack about to finish for those mutas. Neeb's carrier plus death ball combo is making its way to the bottom right-hand corner. The Corruptors are here. They're going to take out the carriers in spectacular fashion. But Neeb has called up his Blink Stalkers. Reynor's supply is plummeting like a stone. Reynor raids the piggy bank and orders another huge round of roaches, 18 of them. Neeb's got a few seconds where he's going to be unimposed and he can make some hay. He kills what was trying to become base number 6, and he's going to find the secret Overlord burial ground. This is always so satisfying as a player. It's not like supply blocking is really his issue. He could get the Spire though if he sees it. Here come the reinforcements. Reynor's feeling the squeeze. He's pulled his drones to help him in this attack. It's now Neeb who's got the mining edge. He kills the 3rd. Neeb has taken back control of this game. He's got a Warp Prism to reinforce his Death Ball. And he's going to rebuild his 5th behind this. It's a blink of confidence. He's getting on top of those Ravagers. Reynor is defending the ramp to his natural. He never thought it would come this far. There's actually Dark Templar in the natural. Reynor didn't pull his drones to attack. He pulled them to save their hides. The wheels have come off for the Zerg. Can the Protoss close it out? He's using storms to trap the Zerg in his natural. From there, Neeb's trying to kill the 4th. If he can get past the spine crawlers, the way will be let bare. Reynor's making lings. That's what he needs against those stalkers. His main force comes down the ramp, but that means he's got to get up a ramp to fight Neeb if he wants to save his 4th, which is a pretty important mineral line for him right now. There are just so many stalkers though. The Ravagers are going to be crushed. It's going to be up to the lings. No, it's not. It's GG. Neeb ties it up. We've got ourselves a series, people. Okay, I want to do a little analysis of this game, but you know what I'm totally late in doing is setting out the context of what the stakes are exactly in this series. The ASUS 2020 is a special 10th anniversary StarCraft tournament. There's a $15,000 prize for the ultimate winner. Reynor and Neeb are in Group B. The other 2 players are Beyond and Stats. Spoiler alert, Neeb's already lost to Stats, Reynor's lost to Beyond. You can't take another loss and stay in the group. So this is an elimination series. Whoever loses 2 more games loses the best of 5 and is out of the tournament. It's kind of cool that everything's a best of 5 at ASUS. But back to Game 2 for just a second. So the biggest difference between Game 2 and Game 1 was that Neeb had this killer harass. His adept timing was pretty successful. Sure, he lost a lot of adepts, but he killed 35 drones. You heard that right. The end tally was 35. For most Zerg players, you lose 35 drones, you've lost the game. Not Reynor. He not only recovers, he maxes out and then even starts building a bank. What Neeb did get out of his devastating harass was an economic lead for a good chunk of the game, which he parlayed into a significant tech lead. He was up on upgrades, and he was able to do his carrier switch. While the carriers got annihilated in the end result, they did their job and let the stalkers take over the game ultimately. So the moral of the story for Reynor is, don't get brutalized by glaive timing. So where did Reynor go wrong? What, if anything, can we say about Reynor's response to the glaive timing? He got a timely Roach Warren, and he even put down a spine crawler. What he didn't do, that some Zerg players will do, is, if they detect an adept glaive timing, they will pass on saturating their 3rd hatchery. That way, there's nothing there for the adepts to kill. That leaves you with only 2 spots to defend instead of 3. Maybe that would have helped him here. Indeed, it tends to work best when your 2 bases are close together, which was the case here. Neeb did not do the hatch block opening this game. Now, I'm quite certain Reynor considered leaving his 3rd unsaturated, but decided he didn't want to preemptively slow his own economy. The other technique I've seen is, instead of chasing back and forth with your roaches, just split them into smaller groups and position them near each mineral line. Now the risk of that is, the adepts might actually overpower one of those smaller groups, and then have free reign at that location. It's a risk. But usually if that happens, the Adepts trade out pretty heavily, and then the Adepts can be cleaned up later. So what happens next? Does Neeb try to repeat his glaive timing? Fake it and do something else? It's a do-or-die series, people. Let's find out. Adjutant, if you would, please.
Preparing preparation for initial preparation and post-preparation preparations. The game begins now.
Alright, we are all tied up, and our series has devolved into what is essentially now a best of 3. I love it. This first probe is moving out pretty early. We've either got ourselves a cheeser or a hatch blocker. Let's do those intros. Our Protoss player is so beautiful to me. Can't you see? He's everything I wanted. He's everything I need. Because he is so beautiful to me. Well, that might just be my strangest intro yet. Nothing strange about Reynor, who looks to be setting up for a 17 hatch. But Neeb's probe is slated to beat him there. Our Zerg player's hatch may be denied, but his incredible skill cannot be, for he is Reynor! I decided to honor him by not singing, but I bet there's some song with the word rain in it. The unnatural natural does go down, as does a gateway for Protoss. And a gas. Not a gas, he just canceled his gas. Was that a mistake? The extractor pool's going down at the normal time. Neeb's probe wouldn't have seen anything unusual. I don't know what's going down here, people, but whatever Neeb's doing, he's doing it without gas. Maybe a triple racks marine rush? Nope, not that. And then he's putting down a core. Still no assimilator. He's got the minerals to expand here. He's gonna put down a nexus. I assumed it was a 1-base rush. He is chrono boosting a zealot, and it's rallied at the Zerg third, but what's up with the second nexus? Oh, he's putting down a pylon. He's either faking a cannon rush, or it's some kind of zealot shield battery thing. Maybe an offensive gateway. Reynor's not too worried. He's gonna put down a third at his natural anyway. No he's not. He changes his mind and sends his drones running over to his expansion. The spawning pool is gonna finish. There is a zealot on its way. Neeb plops down double shield batteries right in front of the unnatural natural. Reynor with a defensive spine, which he cancels when the zealot arrives. This is crazy. I have no idea how this plays out. Reynor goes back to the spine crawler. I really think he wants that. Reynor's ordered 10 lings. A second zealot's on its way. Ling speed is starting. And now Neeb's making gas. 2 lings pop up right in the middle of the conflict. And now the shield batteries are warping in. This zealot is now going to be extremely hard to handle. The lings want to get a surround while he's out of range of that shield battery. The second zealot arrives and they go after the spine crawler. They force the cancel. Reynor's dedicated 4 of his Zerglings to a counterattack. Neeb's got nothing at home right now. He's trying to chrono boost an adept. The queen has arrived, and Reynor's now got range against those zealots. The lings get inside Neeb's base. They beat the chrono boosted adept. They need to cause some chaos. The probes fight back. Meanwhile, the queen is pounding away. A second queen is halfway done. Neeb's warped in an extra 600 hit points for his zealots. Those aren't just zealots, they're true Neeblots. Oh, Neeb's putting down a Stargate. There's no more zealots streaming down. He's looking to transition from this. Reynor says, fine, I'll just have to cut down all 900 of your hit points then. His lings die trying, but there's still 2 queens here. It really does look like both players are gonna get the cleanup, but I have no real idea what kind of value Neeb got for his investment. There goes the last zealot. There's too much to measure. It's not just resources lost, it's who's been taken too far out of their build. Reynor's got to clear those obstructions out of his second base. Neeb starts researching warp gates while his Stargate completes. Reynor's got ling speed and he's only marginally down on workers right now. Is it possible this game could actually stabilize after that opening? It's going to be a void ray at that Stargate. A Stargate is part of Neeb's wall. There's always a risk associated with that. Oh, Reynor's Overlord's going to get the scout on that Stargate and on the void ray. Looks like he started a spore even before he detected it. He's just that good. Neeb looks to be scouting the possibility of taking a third base. Reynor's grabbing an additional gas and getting that all-important Roach Warren. It is going to be a third base for Neeb. The Void Ray is going to come out. Queens and Spores is all Reynor can have in response. And Neeb is going to start an Oracle as well. There may be some follow-up harass to come here. Our players are pretty close to lockstep in terms of resource gathering. The Void Ray kills that scouting overlord, and Reynor is briefly supply blocked. He's going to use a Ling to get the scout on that third base instead. What happens when that Roach Warren finishes? Neeb starts a Robo. His Void Ray's staying at home for defense. The Roach Warren completes, and 6 roaches are in production. It's a door challenge with Lings. There's only a single adept to act as the door guard. The Oracle pops out just in time to help, but that means its surprise value is officially 0. Neeb's gonna send it anyway. No, he's not. I think I'm like 0 for 3 this game. I can predict nothing. Neeb's probe lays down an extra gateway to try to block the doorway. Meanwhile, his adepts are on the attack. They see the roaches though, and they pull back. The Lings can't crack the natural. They're gonna try for the third. They go after a shield battery. The Void Ray tries to save it. Reynor gets it. That's a nice little pickup for his Lings. But Reynor doesn't just want a shield battery. He wants everything. He's sending his roaches, some of which are now Ravagers, and he's sending the Queens. It's going to be a full court press for the Zerg. Does Neeb appreciate this? He's got an Immortal in production. He's making 4 gates. He's canceled the one at the doorway to his natural. The Ravagers are here already. Is this a play for the third or for the natural? The Oracle can act unopposed, but it's gonna run out of energy. Oh, Reynor's Lings get the surround on the Immortal. Neeb so needs that Immortal to stop the roaches. Neeb pulls his probes to defend. Zerg is inside. The Ravagers take down the Stalker. And Neeb with a quick GG. That was a really cool short game. I don't know what happened, but I know that I liked it. So, I quite liked where Neeb's head was at with this one. But I don't really know where his head was at with this one, if you know what I'm saying. I'm sure I didn't appreciate exactly the genius of what he had going on here. I'm betting it brutalized some lesser Zerg players he tested this one on. But Reynor just defended well and then roach roasted the dude. Let's just get to the next game. But before we do, really quick, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do give it some consideration. It really helps me out. I'm trying hard to get my videos out of the dustbin, and hitting that sub button provides the YouTube algorithm with a little bit of validation for the channel. So thank you very much. Now let's get on to game 4. Adjutant, if you would please.
Bracing for psychological impact of potential elimination game. The game begins now.
That's right, people. Neeb is going to be fighting for his tournament life here. If he's got anything left in the playbook, anything left in the tank, it's time to pull it out right now. And once again, he's sending out what looks to be a hatch-blocking probe. Oh, it's a pool first, people. We gotta hustle. Our Zerg player is the youngest active player with the Premier Tournament win. He is Reynor! Introducing the first foreigner to win a Premier Starcraft 2 tournament held on Korean soil. He is Neeb! He gets that accolade for life. And there goes down his gateway. His hatch-blocking probe senses something wrong. He's gonna go take a look, see what he can see. He spots it. It's a pool about to complete. Neeb reacts by going for the fast forward. He knows he needs a Ling stopper. Pool goes live. Reynor will immediately make 4 Lings, no 6. And they are rallied for the Protoss base. Neeb's probe's looking to delay Reynor's hatch, but he doesn't actually have the minerals to make one. Neeb plants a blocking pylon. Reynor goes for the third base location, but I think it's a fake. Yes, it is. Or not, he is queuing minerals. The first 6 Lings are out. There's 4 more coming right behind them. Neeb cancels his pylon. I don't think this is about hatch blocking anymore. Neeb loses his probe, and that's a first blood. But I don't think he was gonna need it anymore. Neeb's actually going for a Nexus here, but he's also gotta finish that wall. He must have this timed out, because it looks like it's going to be close. I mean, razor close. There goes the cyber core, and the probe's going to act as a door guard until the photon cannon can finish. This is going to be so tight. The Lings are in. Neeb tried to make a pylon. Neeb needs a zealot pronto. He doesn't have a pylon to put a cannon in his main. But he also needs a zealot to hold his front door against the Lings that are going to follow. He's chrono boosting one now. The probes are doing an elegant job of displaying the herd defense, but it's costing Neeb mining time. There's a lot of Lings perched outside that natural. Reynor's not actually getting kills here. He is, though, getting a worker lead back home. Here comes that zealot. He needs to somehow clean this up right away. Zerglings have a speed of 4.13, zealots only 3.15. That's a sizable gulf for Reynor to work with. Somehow, though, Neeb is getting his gases up and a pylon. And he's even going to finish his Nexus at his natural. Is there hope for Protoss? Can he stave off elimination? Reynor's already got his first queen out, and he's going to finish his natural. Oh, he pins the zealot up against the Nexus. The probes come to save their protector, but the zealot dies. There's no shepherd guarding these sheep anymore, at least until the next zealot comes out. Only 4 probe kills for Reynor, but he is outperforming Neeb in the resources lost category. Still, Neeb has somehow caught up on workers. Neeb just doesn't have an army to speak of right now. That zealot's all he's got. He's got to make it work. Oh, Reynor's trading Lings for probes. Neeb is going to clean this up. Oh, but at what cost? The game, the series, the tournament. Reynor is our winner. After 2, arguably 3, just terrific games, it's a tragedy to see Neeb go down in an anticlimactic turd muffin like Game 4. But hey, it happens. It doesn't mean this wasn't a cool series. I know I'm going to be uploading this one for sure. Side note, when I cast a series dominated by turd muffins, I do not upload them. That's why you can trust you will generally find cool games on this channel. Anyway, what happened to Neeb here in Game 4? Well, it's easy to be the armchair guy with the advantage of hindsight once the game's over. But I'd say it was pretty clear Neeb needed to hold off making his Nexus until he had secured his wall. He needed that money spent elsewhere. In fairness, he was worried about the effect a later Nexus would have on the mid to late game. And when you're facing a guy like Reynor, you really can't fall behind and expect to come back. But as it turned out, in so doing, he failed to secure the early game. He needed that wall. A pylon or shield battery would have made the difference. Maybe he just misjudged how long he had before the Lings were going to arrive. Maybe he practiced against opponents who had a slightly slower rush. But regardless, that was his TSN turning point, and the point was downhill. Doesn't mean I don't love Neeb anymore. Don't worry, I won't sing again. But I will say happy holidays to all, and from my base to yours, Zugzwang out. To continue your StarCraft journey, Nova advises you to click the video in the upper rectangle. But Kerrigan warns you to watch your 6 and click the video in the bottom rectangle. Or you can stimpack your StarCraft experience. Subscribe to Zugzwang StarCraft. Just hit the circle. From my base to yours, Zugzwang out.